Hello, this is Abella David. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show us how to use VLOOKUP and the index match inside conditional formatting to highlight an entire row of data that satisfied the specified criteria. So let's get started. Now, before we move further, let's make sense of our data set. Now, this is our data set. We have the date, items, state, and the actual amount generated. Now, in columns J and K, we have each of the unique states and their corresponding target sales. So, for example, for the state of Washington, the target sales is $20,000. For Texas, $30,000. For Pennsylvania, $10,000. New York, $25,000, and Michigan, $40,000. So before we create our conditional formatting, I'm going to just write out the formula as an helper column in column F. So let's start. So in F2, I'm going to put in my equal sign and I'm going to reference the value in cell D2. Then I'm going to use greater than or equal to and we'll deploy the VLOOKUP function. And I press my tab key to select the function. So the VLOOKUP has 3 mandatory and 1 optional argument to supply. So for the first argument, which is the lookup value, so I'm going to select the cell C2 and then I'm going to put in a comma. So for the table array, which is the second argument, I'm going to select the data to the right, excluding the headers, and of course I'm going to apply F4 to make it absolute so that when I copy the formula down, the formula does not move relatively. So I'm going to press F4 once, comma, and the next argument is the column index number. Now, based on the table array, we have the column index number. So this is column index number 1, and this is column index number 2, and this is exactly what we want to return. So I'm going to just type in 2 as a value, comma, and the fourth argument is the optional one, and of course by default it's an approximate matching, but we want an exact match. So I'm going to just type in false or 0. It implies the same, and I'm going to close my formula. So when I deploy F9, so we can actually see what it's going to deliver. So it's delivered false because for the state of Washington, the target sales is 20,000, but the actual sales is actually 5,120, which is false. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z to go back and I deploy Ctrl Enter. So it returns false. So I'm going to just copy the formula down using Alt fill, the fill handle. Okay, so we have the bunch of trues and false. Now I need to tweak this formula because we're going to use that inside the conditional formatting. So because we want to highlight all the rows, we need to fix the columns. So I'm going to just put the formula in edit mode by pressing F2, and I'm going to come to D2 and I press F4 key 1, 2, 3. So in this case, we have locked down the column, not the row. And of course, for the VLOOKUP lookup value, I'm going to apply mixed cell reference also. So F4 key 1, 2, 3. So we have locked down the column, not the row. So this remains absolute. Then I'm going to do Control Enter and let's copy it down again. Now this is exactly what we need. So we have a bunch of trues and false. So I'm going to just come to the formula bar and I'm going to do Control C to copy the formula, and I press Escape on my keyboard, and then we can select our data, Control Shift right and down arrow keys, Control backspace to move up. Then we click on conditional formatting in the Home tab. So click on conditional formatting. I want to set a new rule, so I click on new rule, and of course we have the new formatting rules, and we are interested in using a formula to determine which cells to format. So we have format values where this formula is true. So what I'm going to do is to paste the formula and everything is fine. Then we need to set our format. So I click on format, and we can actually apply bold or whatever. So let's apply a fill column. So I'm going to select a green fill. So this is going to be the sample, and we click on OK, and finally I click on OK. Amazing. So can you see that the data is formatted? Now let's analyze this. Now, as we said earlier on, the target for Washington is $20,000, but we did 5,000, so that is actually not true, it's false. Now let's take Texas for example. So the target level for Texas is 30,000, and we did 41,891, which means that we surpassed the target. Now let me try to move this Texas to 30,000. Let's see what happens. Okay, so when I hit this, of course, it gave us the conditionally formatted row because we use the greater than or equal to. So this is how to do this operation using the VLOOKUP function. Now we're going to replicate the same thing using the index match. So let's go to the next sheet tab, and of course we have the same data. So let's just go ahead and write our formula here. So start by typing equal sign D2 greater than or equal to, then I'm going to deploy the index match, and of course the first argument is the array. So this is exactly what I want to return this. Now I'm going to fix that in absolute so that it doesn't want to copy down, comma, and of course for the row number I'm going to throw in the match or X match, anyone. So let's use match for the benefit of those who doesn't have the X match. So for the match, we need the lookup value. So I'm going to select this data. I'm going to apply F4, 1, 2, 3. And of course, here we'll do the same thing, F4, 1, 2, 3. So let's continue, comma, and the lookup array is this. And of course, we apply F4, 1, okay, then, comma. So the match type is going to be exact, okay. So put in 0, and I close my match and close my index, and I hit Control Enter. So it gave us false. So when we copy the formula down using the fill handle, we have bunch of trues and false, just like what we had using the VLOOKUP. So I'm going to just copy the formula F2, then I can copy all this, Control C, and I press escape. So let's select our data, Control Shift, right and down arrow keys, Control backspace, conditional formatting, new rule, use the formula to determine which cells to format, and I paste the formula in here. Everything is fine. Then I click on format, and let's apply yellow in this case, and I click on OK, and finally OK. Amazing. So we achieve the same result using the VLOOKUP and the index match. So when I press Control down arrow key, you can actually see, so we achieve the same thing. So this is essentially how we use either the VLOOKUP or the index match inside conditional formatting, and this is an advanced one. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give some comments and some likes. Thank you, and bye for now.